And I'm excited to be here today with you all today, because I love that we're not just rallying electorally, but we're rallying non-electorally for all of the mass movement organizing that's going to be necessary to change this country. So thank you all so much. I wanted to talk about that a little bit too, because well, let's talk about it. 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 Because let's actually start on that note, right? Because I don't believe in elephants in the room. Let's speak on it, because we are all here in solidarity to fight for human rights for Palestinians and Palestinian kids, and for children all over the place. And I don't believe that a child should be on a cage in our border, and I don't believe that a child should be in a cage in the West Bank, and I don't believe that we should be supporting that. However, if we want to make that reality happen, it's not going to happen on the internet, y'all. It's got to happen in person. It needs to happen in conversations, and it has to happen with conversations with people who are already not on your side. We have to expand. We have to grow. We need to educate people on what's going on. Because a lot of us didn't grow up in households where this issue was discussed, right? The plight, and we already know, with media, with all this stuff, Palestine is basically a banned word. It's censored. We don't talk about it. No one knows about it. So if we care about this, my brother, if we care about it, we gotta be about it. We gotta be about it. And when the votes happen, they have to reflect the community's understanding and building of the issue. So let's knock the doors and make it work and raise the consciousness so that we can take those votes not against the will of our community, but with the will of our community. With solidarity and peace and understanding and consciousness raising. It's not gonna happen by trolling on Twitter, y'all. It's gonna happen by knocking on a damn door. So let's do it, all right? Because I don't have to tell y'all that there's a lot of money and there's a lot of established power fighting against the reality of the subjugation of human rights and to promote the war machine that's happening right now. Just everywhere in general. And so we have to organize with communities, all right? And so if there is a Palestinian brother and sister here, first of all, I want to apologize that this trauma is so public. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't. But what we need to do is stand in solidarity with each other and talk about that, and just talk about it, man. That's exactly what this is. So, I can get back to that later, but you know what? Like, good, and thank you for bringing it up, honestly, because we shouldn't have to tiptoe around these things. We should be able to talk about it. And we shouldn't allow people's humanity to be censored in the United States of America. And you shouldn't be accused, and it's not even, and believing in the basic human dignity and the ability for a person to not, be jailed or beaten for who they are, it does not mean that you are bigoted against any other community. It's not. And we gotta call that for what it is. Yes. Because it's too much. It's too much. But also we need to remember that when we look at those tough votes, the people who are taking those tough votes are disproportionately Black, brown, and women members of Congress carrying the fire, including our sisters Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, okay? So please, because we can only push as much as there is building and work on the ground. This isn't just about, you vote your opinions. This is about we vote what we've organized for, and we gotta expand it. So, I wanna thank you all. And we should cheer them. So I wanna thank you all. And it frankly is this kind of organizing that we need to do in order to build awareness. I'll give them the time and respect.
You and what?
Stand for genocide. My mom
Okay,
thinks she's not
so we'll go
pro-Israel
on.
enough.
So I also want to talk
Jewish.
about what else we can do. Thank you all. Thank you all. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I want to make sure that we're creating space for it. I'm not trying to hide from anything, but we have to talk about these conversations. They're not easy, and we figure them out together, and we struggle through this together. Because it's never an easy juncture at any one specific step or one specific step of the way. But what we need to agree on is the goal. And what we are agreed on is the goal. And what we're resisting, and make sure that we remember that we are organizing around what is actually the true source of the harm. And we can't get distracted, because this internal fighting against one another, first of all, it has always been one of the leading threats to us being able to accomplish those goals, first of all. And second of all, a lot of it is intentionally sowed in U.S. history. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Because a lot of this discontent has been intentionally sowed throughout all of U.S. history. In the civil rights movement, in the anti-war movement, in the queer liberation movement, in the labor movement. This internal discord has always been the key to make sure that we slow down the fight. So I will not run away from accountability, but I will also not allow us to get distracted either. So that's that. Thank you. So let's talk about some of the things that we do need to do. So here's some of the things. One of the things is, as was mentioned earlier, we've got some striking out in San Antonio. The symphony workers are currently on strike. We've got to make sure we're supporting them. Our Starbucks workers who are starting to unionize out in San Antonio as well. We've got to show them some love, because Starbucks started union busting, I believe, down in Memphis. And you know why? Because we went out to Buffalo, where the first Starbucks union drive in the country started happening. And the psychological tactics that they were deploying against these organizers were unreal. They flew out almost all the corporate and almost all the executives, Starbucks executives, they flew out union busting firms. And they had their Starbucks workers were outnumbered, sometimes 2 or 3 to 1, with folks in suits following them around as they were just trying to do their job. Trying to make it psychologically untenable to do their work. Almost psychologically untenable to do their work.